I want to show you how I do a little bit of meal prep, and this time it's for breakfast, not dinner. If you're just meeting me, my name is Amy Cross, and this is the Cross Legacy, where I teach you how to save money on groceries. Our grocery budget is $135 per person. There's 2 people that live here at the house, so that means I'm only spending $270 on groceries per month. I am also somebody that has a chronic illness and a shoulder injury right now. So some days I have great days and other days are a lot harder. So whenever I can do little things like this on a great day, it makes those harder days much easier for me. And this is just a really simple tip of how I make breakfast sausage. I add vegetables to it and then I put it in the freezer so I'm able to pull it out anytime and just cook an egg with it. So my rule of thumb, anytime I'm doing anything with any kind of ground meat, like ground beef, but this time it is the sausage, I will double the portion size by adding onions and zucchini to it. So I'm going to end up using about half of this onion and half of the zucchini, and that way I'm going to cook it all together. And I've found if I cook the onions and the zucchini together, nobody in my family even knows that I added zucchini or squash to a recipe. Now for many, many years, kind of until the Cross Legacy happened, Mike didn't know that I was always adding zucchini and cauliflower to meals. So back then I would make them really small, the same size as I would cut the onion, and that way it was harder to tell. Now he knows, so I don't have to cut as much, and especially with my shoulder hurting, it's nice to just let things be a little bit bigger. I'm gonna just use my always pan. It seems like I use this almost every single day. It's just the easiest thing to cook in. I'm letting a little bit of avocado oil heat up in the pan, and I'm gonna add the onions and the zucchini or squash into the pan and let these brown first before I add in the sausage. Honestly, if my shoulder wasn't hurting right now, I should have cut just the rest of the zucchini and the rest of the onions, and that way I could have divided all of that up and put it in the freezer. So once half of it got done cooking, I would be able to put that in the freezer and just throw it into another pan or another recipe. And I don't want to add any more oil into the pan, especially because I'm going to be adding sausage to it next. So if it does need something in the pan, I'm just going to add about a tablespoon of water. So right now it's about halfway cooked down. If I had cooked the whole onion and the whole zucchini, this is when I would have divided half of it out and put it in a dish, and that way I could use it for another recipe. But we're doing what we're doing here today, and it's just the half of everything. And then I'm going to add the 1 pound of breakfast sausage to it. As that's browning, I'm just going to add some salt, pepper, and garlic to it. Okay, I should have cut the other ones up smaller for the squash. I know, it's okay. I'm just making it for us. But if it was smaller, this is what it looks like, where you really can't even tell if it's onions or squash. And when I'm doing things like breakfast sausage, I'm going to use a 1/2 cup super cube, and then I can divide it into portions and put this into the freezer. And then you can just pop them out and put it in your pan and add scrambled eggs to it, and you can have breakfast in just a couple minutes. So for this, I'm going to get at least 6 servings out of it, maybe even more. And then if I was trying to save half of it in a container, sometimes I'll put that in a glass dish, because I do like to make meat ahead of like this and then make like biscuits and gravy, and then I have the meat already ready and I just have to make the roux to make the gravy. And also this is just so versatile. So I normally always have some frozen spinach in the freezer. We normally have peppers either in the refrigerator or the freezer. We can add to this, just cracking a couple eggs in it and making scrambled eggs. You can make it into an omelet, all the different ways that you can use it. And then we also have some other recipes on the blog, how I make like egg bites and make those ahead of time, and then you just have to warm them up. I did divide this up equally into 6 portions here. Honestly, I normally just use one of these portions to make breakfast for Mike and I, and then I just add extra egg to it. So I think of sausage as being the seasoning of the meal and not the main component. We're actually eating eggs. I do like to put anything that I'm putting into the freezer in the refrigerator overnight. I think by dropping the temperature like that, you don't get as many ice crystals. And if you have room in your freezer, I just keep them in these containers most of the time until I need to use the container again, and then sometimes I'll transfer it into a Ziploc bag or a stasher bag. But oftentimes, because I have room in my freezer, I just keep them in the original container here with the lid. And these are going to stay fresh for around 3 to 6 months. And if you're buying buying sausage that's in the styrofoam container with the plastic wrap on it, those only stay fresh in the freezer before getting freezer burned around 3 months. So if you have went grocery shopping and tucked those away in your freezer, you might want to check them and use them up. I'm gonna start trying to do more little videos like this to give you ideas of how I batch cook. I mean, this was a batch cooked meal and it wasn't very time consuming. And this is something that I would normally do while I'm making dinner in another pan. And that way I'm doing two things at the same time and dinner and breakfast is done. Know that I spend time every single day trying to answer your questions. If you're new here and have questions, please ask. I'm happy to help you find links or answer them.